Hello drivers, in this video, I'll share what not to do when driving a car in the winter. Let's get started. Winter is here and it's a challenging time for many drivers. Slippery roads, ice, snow, darkness, and more. Some new drivers even store their car away until spring. Drivers face difficulties in winter like ice, icing, snow, blizzards, and temperature swings. Driving in these conditions requires specific skills. The tips I'll share today will help you avoid troubles and even accidents in winter and beyond. Let's not waste any time and dive into the list of what drivers shouldn't do in winter. Tip number 1, never drive on summer tires in winter. I know, we know it's a big country with warmer regions, but in winter months with snow and ice, don't risk driving on summer tires. Also, don't wash your car in severe cold. Water freezes quickly at low temperatures. It can seep into cracks, gaps, and various car parts like windows, lights, doors, and trunk. If you must clean it, say for selling, how do you show a dirty car? You can do it safely if you follow certain rules, as shown in this video. But generally, avoid washing in severe cold. Ideally, as I mentioned in that video, you should monitor the weather and wash your car before frost to keep it clean. Moving on, don't leave your car with the handbrake on during temperature changes. After driving through a puddle or ice and it's -4 or -10 at night, the mechanisms get damp. If you raise the handbrake, everything gets stuck. By morning, you won't be able to move. I don't recommend using the handbrake when parking for long periods. Fourth, don't park under roof overhangs, especially if you see snow piles and icicles. Just look up when you park. If you see icicles, especially during a thaw, they're likely to fall. Don't tempt fate even for a quick 5-minute stop. It's your call, but I'm here to warn and advise you. Next tip's about thaws. These temp swings are tough on us and cars. Don't park in puddles. You might not notice, but come morning, your wheels could be frozen solid. Then what? If it's just a bit stuck, you might rock it free. But if it's really frozen, you're in for a struggle. You'll need to melt the ice or chip it away. Either way, it's a hassle you didn't plan for. The next tip is for those driving manual transmission cars. I strongly advise against coasting in neutral, as many do in summer. It's dangerous. Saw a green light ahead, he shifted to neutral and coasted. Why do this? It's unclear. Without details, it doesn't make the car uncontrollable, but affects stability on slippery roads. So guys, don't do it. Just ease off the gas, keep driving, and use engine braking. Driving in neutral is like speeding with the clutch in or out. It's all risky. Next tip for beginners. For your first 2 or 3 winters, avoid driving in harsh weather conditions, okay? Snowfalls aren't that frequent in winter, maybe 2 or 3 times. Of course, I'm talking averages for central Russia, not the north. It's when a blizzard lasts for several hours or even days. It's such chaos that walking is difficult, let alone driving. In a typical front-wheel drive sedan, you have to start differently since the car keeps slipping and everything constantly freezes over. What can we consider extreme conditions? Blizzards, severe snowstorms, I'll repeat by the hour, and when everything gets buried under snow, the equipment usually can't keep up, or there might be ice, freezing rain. For instance, I don't drive in such conditions either. When all cars are encased in ice sheets, ice covers everything it can, and personally, I'm more worried about someone crashing into me than crashing into others. I'll move slowly, using the "if you don't hit me, I won't hit you" mindset. It really applies here. So friends, wake up in the morning, take a look, but better yet, check the weather in the evening if there's a real anomaly. It happens, well, it's winter after all. I hope you understand what I mean by such extreme winter conditions. Let's move on to the next tip, which in my opinion is also very important. Don't go long distances or even out of town without a proper emergency kit. The most important thing is to consider what you do if your car breaks down. It's common, anything can happen. The engine might not start, the battery could die. You need to check the temperature and ask yourself, will you have cell service, money, water, food, warm clothes? Can you start a fire? Do you have a tow rope? Guys, you have to think through all these things. So, a competent winter driving kit is crucial. What else to avoid in winter? Forget aggressive driving. It's not a game of checkers, folks. If you want to see spring, stop this behavior. I drive on highways, and what you're doing is dangerous. You're risking your life and others. Smooth driving is key. Let me remind you of 3 main winter driving tips. All movements should be careful, smooth, and slow. Don't slam on any pedal. Sudden moves, especially when turning or maneuvering, can cause loss of control. All actions must be smooth. So first tip, drive smoothly. Second, increase following distance as braking takes longer on slippery roads. Third, reduce speed. If you normally drive 60 with snow and ice, cut it by at least 30%. Next tip, never use plain water in your car during winter. This mainly applies to the washer fluid reservoir. When we spray the windshield, it's fine if you need to get somewhere and you've run out of winter washer fluid. You might use water in a pinch, but be careful. If it's freezing outside, the water might not freeze in the reservoir, but once you spray it on the windshield, it'll instantly ice over at high speeds. Driving on ice is dangerous. No visibility. Stock up on antifreeze in advance. It's not just about freezing. Another issue. Drivers often add water to the expansion tank. Antifreeze leaks out due to a breakdown. You can't drive without coolant, so people add water. It's okay to reach a repair shop this way. You'll drain it all and add new antifreeze there. But some just add water and leave the car overnight. At minus 25 to minus 30 degrees Celsius, you're in for costly repairs. So never add plain water to any tank in winter. Let's move on. Never pour boiling water on your car in winter or any parts that sometimes freeze. Froze, you have pads for the discs. You do not need to pour boiling water. It can deform, burst, because minus and you boil water, okay? Somewhere warm water or warm up other ways. Again, in the video, I explain what to do if the pad suddenly froze, what to do if they suddenly froze their doors. There are videos on the channel of what to do if you are frozen and everything. Probably already all these topics are practically covered by them. The next side, never use physical force. If, again, in winter, something is frozen in the car, most often it is a door, a trunk. A person begins to use physical strength, and if the rubber seals are very well frozen to the metal, to the doorway, then ends with either the person pulls out the handle or he just opens the door without elastic bands. Elastic bands remain as a rule in the very opening, and accordingly then what to do. It's movement blow from all the cracks. You need to look for these elastic bands. Well, in short, a bunch of hemorrhoids that I think no one needs it. If the doors are frozen with certain movements, there are certain ways. Again, I have watched the video on the channel, but we do not use physical force. So guys, here are the main tips. I think it's obvious not to scrape the paint down to bare metal with an ice scraper, but I've seen a couple cases where most likely a newbie was scraping the hood with a scraper. Come spring, they'll be shocked by the cost of repainting. Friends, just be smart drivers. Park wisely, watch the weather, and if you drive through puddles, dry off the mechanisms. Take a short drive, use the brakes to generate heat. This keeps things dry so nothing freezes. If you need to use the handbrake, like for remote start in the morning, go ahead. Check if the wheels are in puddles. If it's freezing at night, look up. Is there any? Just be prudent, vigilant, and thinking drivers, then everything will be fine on the road. Friends, I know that many experienced drivers also watch the channel. I'm not a know-it-all, something I may not know about, something I might just forget to mention. So I ask experienced drivers and ordinary drivers in the comments, supplement some of your tips. I try to write out about 15 of the most significant ones. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. There will be a lot of different informative. Support the videos with likes. It's very important to me. It's important for the development of the channel. But as always, I wish you all safe travels in the unfrozen winter. Goodbye, everyone.